For a look at the national papers today, we're joined now by the editor of Plain English, Andrew Pegler. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning.
What's first on your list today?
Well, how can you go past the Judy Moran story, that ongoing Greek tragedy with sort of Shakespearean farcical overtones? The latest in this is Judy's apparently gone on a $200,000 spending spree, which has perplexed the police. They feel that there is sort of suspicions around where this money may have come from. Of course, Judy is now been upgraded, the charge has been upgraded to murder for her brother-in-law, Desmond Tuppence Moran, shot, well, accusingly shot by a guy called Jeffrey Nuts Armour, and the accomplice was Susan Kane. Of course, and I think she might have been related to one of the Kane brothers.
She's alleged to be the accomplice, and there's a charge against her at the moment, yes.
Yes, sorry, okay, yep. So that's sort of rolling on, and I mean, for me, one of the main crimes so far has been probably the alpaca white hats and pink shell suits that we've had to put up with old Judy, and she's now wearing prison issue blue jumpsuits, which would be tough for her. Yeah, also supposedly there was a couple of suspects that have been practising firing weapons at a property in the country weeks before Moran was killed. So all of these sort of elements are coming together now in sort of proof.
So that case rolls on.
It does.
And there's been an interesting exchange between Hillary Clinton and the North Koreans.
Yes, there has been. It's been a sort of a bit of an insult exchange, a bit of an insult off. She's called them effectively needy children, and they've come back and said something like, she sometimes looks like a primary schoolgirl and sometimes like a pensioner going shopping. Which is
it's such an interesting combination of insults there. We were quoting that before, and I actually think someone on the North Korean team actually has quite a decent eye and a nice mind for the insult, because, you know, on our bad days we do sort of look like, you know, bag ladies, and on our good days we can look a little better.
Virginia.
I am. You bet I am. And someone there on the North Korean team is clearly watching all the footage of her very carefully as she comes off the plane and thinking, oh, she's had a rough flight. Let's go her. Let's nail this woman. Nail this running dog capitalist.
No, they haven't held back. And this is, of course, all with the anxious speculation about a third nuclear test coming up. And there's all this sort of tension in the air, and this bizarre invective trademark of diplomacy that North Korea have developed has sort of come to the fore again. I think they may have called George W. Bush a politically backward child at one point. They do tend to come up with these sorts of things.
But Hillary has hit back as well. She's called them like needy children or something. So it's not peculiar to the North Koreans.
No, it's not. Well, this is the thing. There's sort of international diplomacy has become a bit of a sort of a playground lunchtime insult-off. It's interesting to see how this goes anyway. Yeah.
And the reports that you're reading, what are they saying about the nature of the attempt by Barack Obama to try and communicate more effectively with North Korea? What's the analysis on that? Is he succeeding at all?
Look, I think he's doing certainly a better job than what the Bush administration did. The sort of noises coming out of Washington are much more conciliatory in general. In fact, I think there was a report yesterday saying that, except for the Middle East, of course, the world's relationship with America is on the improve. There is a warmth there that wasn't there before, and that's really down to someone like Barack Obama, who brings a sort of dignity and poise to the role, and a sort of a more of a tolerance for I guess the differences of people and human nature.
Now, I know you're looking at some comments that have been made by Ben Bernanke in the United States as well.
Yeah, the Ben Bernanke has come out and said that the next flashpoint possibly for the US economy may be the commercial property market. He feels that the banks are adequately capitalised to handle the commercial property downturn, but there are maybe situations where systematically important firms will need more public funding. This comes as concerns rise, of course, that the commercial real estate may be the next flashpoint in the US economy.
So all this public money is being thrown at the banks. Now it's going to have to be thrown at the commercial property sector.
Yeah, look, exactly. But one or two good things that have come out of it, of course, is that well, in general, is that the US housing market has risen unexpectedly by, I think, 0.9%. They were expecting a contraction of 0.2%. So the green shoots are sort of budding, and they had a very good reporting season as well recently. But I think on analysis, people have got to keep in mind that the reporting season profits that came out were assisted by the fact that there's been a significant amount of cost cutting so far, and also the price of raw materials has come down. So these sort of things feed into profits. So moving forward, as Bernanke has said, it's not going to be an easy road, and they're going to be in trouble for a year, year and a half at least, I would have thought. But
Bernanke is very careful about the warnings that he's given at the moment, and just before anyone gets ahead of themselves, he seems to jump in early and give a warning about that particular sector.
Sort of irrationally unexuberant.
In comparison to his predecessor.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing some elements of the so-called recovery later in the program as well,
yeah.
because it would seem that a lot of those large-scale private companies that were forced to scale back their executive salaries, they're coming back, they're making up for it, and they're now putting money aside and provisions for not only a return to those executive level salaries, but a bit of an increase too.
And Obama was so strong on that when he came to power. It'll be interesting to see what his reaction will be when those bonuses return.
Absolutely, yeah, he'll keep his eye on it, and yeah.
Okay, now I know that the Michael Jackson story is for many reasons irresistible,
yeah.
and it remains that way this morning. We were discussing yesterday about the Michael Jackson's doctor's office being raided in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, which has happened. Okay, so the police raided Michael Jackson's office to gather evidence for manslaughter. The fear is, or the concern is, that the doctor may have been involved in administering a lethal dose of a drug called Diprivan, and at this stage the official coroner's verdict has been delayed, so investigations continue. Michael Jackson couldn't have died in any other way, I guess. You know, it's always going to be a bit of a mystery.
Andrew Pegler, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you.